I've seen a number of your videos, and you just have such a natural way of teaching practical health tips and covers a broad spectrum of subjects. So for our audience today, maybe just take a moment, and we know we have new viewers. Introduce yourself a little bit, and how did you get into health education?
Well, I first got interested in health because I'm a fifth generation Australian Scottish descent. So I grew up with sausages, chops, mashed potatoes, frozen peas or beans every night except for Sunday, roast lamb. And if I got sick, it was usually a cold in the middle of winter. Mum would take me to the doctor. I'd get some cherry-flavoured medicine, go home and be better. And then I trained as a psychiatric nurse, and same thing. Person gets sick, gets a drug to make them better. I never questioned it, never doubted it. Even though I was brought up in a home where my father was an inventor, so we questioned everything. But not in medicine. Medicine's like an area you don't touch. So when my first daughter I got an earache, I went straight to the doctor. Now, over 6 weeks and 4 courses of antibiotics, the earache keeps coming back. My father's an inventor. We were taught to question, and I thought, this isn't making any sense. So I said, well, my daughter be on this for the rest of her life, and he was challenged by that. So he sent me to an ear, nose and throat specialist who looked in Emma's ears, in her mouth, said she's teething. Give her these drops to keep the eustachian tubes clear. But that started me on a journey. I didn't want that. And so I started asking old people next door. I'm 25, the old lady next door's 85. What did your mother do when you had an earache? Steamed up an onion on the stove. So the next child, similar thing happened. I steamed up the onion. Child slept for 2 hours. No more earache. I was like a woman possessed. There is something else. But something else happened around that time, which was really the most wonderful event in my life, is I started reading the Bible and I surrendered my heart to God. And then I wanted to know, well, how does God see the body? How does God see healing? Because as a fifth generation Australian Scottish descent, we never heard about health growing up. And then I started to see, it's like my eyes were opened. I started to see, do you know, there's a health message all through the Bible. God wants the body to be looked after because it's the temple of God. And so probably I had another whole lot of children. I ended up giving birth to 6 children, no drugs, treated them all naturally, started to help my friends. And then in 1997, I'd been a single mother for 4 years. Michael O'Neill asked me to marry him. And he was the business manager at a health retreat. And after a year of being married, he wanted to start his own health retreat. So he went right down the bottom of Australia. And I said, what are our team? He said, well, we've got 8 children between us. One's a cook, one's a massage therapist, the boys are gardeners, his daughter's the secretary. I said, who'll be the health director? He said, you. I said, no, I'm just a mother. My name's Barbara Esther, and I liken it to when Esther said to Mordecai, no, I can't go before the king. But my husband said, no, you'll be good, and he walked out of the room. So there it was. So there I was really pushed in to be the reluctant health director. I'm never reluctant to help people, but I never wanted to be in the front line, but God had other plans, and I discovered the best way to learn is to teach. And that was 26 years ago.